Hi everyone! There are many scary places on this earth, and I'm going to share with you 5 places that will really make your hairs stand up. The first place are the mines of Paris, also called the underground city of death. This is often mistaken for the catacombs in Paris, but they are not the same. The catacombs actually can be toured legally, but the mines, you are forbidden to go there. So there are infinite tunnels running under the streets of Paris, and they are illegal to explore. So why are these tunnels there? Well, they actually used these tunnels back in the past to dig out minerals. So these tunnels, they are extremely long and they are deep underground, and they reach for 600 kilometers. And most of them are actually unmapped, and it is extremely easy to get lost in them and to never find your way out again.
He's running faster and faster and faster, deeper and deeper into the catacombs. And all of a sudden,
so legend is that there are ancient cults and creatures that are actually patrolling these depths, and also spirits of people who have died. And it really doesn't help that there are areas in those mines that are littered with human bones, because cemeteries used to be full and overcrowded, so they dumped bones of deceased people into these mines. So many areas in these mines are actually hundreds of feet below the street. Some areas are completely flooded with water. Other areas are so small that you have to crawl to get through them. Then there are holes that drop hundreds of feet, and manholes that are actually unreachable. The mines also absorb sound, they mute sound, so it makes it very unlikely if something would happen to you inside these mines that anyone would ever hear you. There are also very weird paintings inside these mines, and also visitors have said that they felt the spirits, that they felt the presence of spirits, and that they sometimes felt hands touching them, that they felt sensations of being followed, that they felt temperature changes or really strange noises. And there's also a legend of a guy who got lost in these mines and he actually died in them, and I think it was 1793. Philippert was his first name, and he was found 11 years after his death, and they say his body was actually found pretty close to an exit. So most probably he was out of flashlight and he didn't see where he was going, and he died in those mines, which is very creepy to think about. The second one is Stool, Sleng Genocide Museum. So this is a former high school in Cambodia which was transferred by the Khmer Rouge into Prison 21. So they used this prison as a base to torture and murder prisoners. A lot of these prisoners actually were innocent, but through torture made to confess things that they hadn't done. Out of 17,000 people, only it is said that 12 have survived. And they say that the 17,000 people who died there now roam the halls, and odd things happen all around the place. Then number 3 is the Bibury Mental Asylum, and this I think is also a very, very creepy place. So this is a mental hospital in Philadelphia, and it housed anyone from the mentally challenged to the criminally insane. Conditions in this asylum were so atrocious, and they treated the patients as subhumans. They extremely bad. There was even torture going on. They had to actually shut down this mental hospital, and a lot of books have been written about this. So it was closed down completely and abandoned for 16 years. It kept standing there abandoned because they didn't want to tear it down, because they were scared of the asbestos that would get free into the atmosphere if they would do that. So Bibury was seriously overcrowded. Also over 6,100 patients, which is like 75% over his maximum capacity. Thinking about that fact, there were only a couple of hundreds, or I think 340 staff members to take care of the 6,100 patients. Oh no, excuse me, it was wrong. 180 attendants. That's all for all those patients. So you can think what happened there. There were actually hallways littered with feces. where also the patients were made to sleep. Patients were found naked, starving, because the hospital didn't have enough funds. And then there's the staff who frequently abused and exploited and harassed the patients. Even one patient, his tooth was pulled without sedation. Another member killed and dismembered a female patient. The killer was never found, but the body parts, they were all over the property. And they found other patients playing with her teeth. How fucked up is that? Then when they were closing down in a nearby river, 2 of the patients were found dead. Then there's the island of dolls in Mexico, and on this island there was a caretaker, and a little girl had drowned in the lake, and after she had drowned, this caretaker kept fishing up dolls out of the lake. So he believed that there was an evil spirit that he had to appease, and by doing that he wanted to soothe the spirit of the little girl by hanging the dolls he found into the trees. So many of these dolls started to look extremely creepy with blotches and spots, very pale, sometimes skull-like, because of, you know, being exposed to the elements, which makes it all the more creepy to look at. But the creepiest part is this. The caretaker did this for 50 years until he died, drowned in the same spot the little girl had drowned. Then there's the Plague Island of Italy, also called the Evil Island of Italy, or the Island of Madness. So this is an island where there was a hospital or a place, a quarantine place for plague victims. When the Black Plague was going around, they brought people there who they thought were infected. And many mass graves of so-called plague victims have been found there. So as the plague was tightening, it was really heavy, a lot of people were just taken and dragged away screaming because they had even the slightest symptoms, and people were so scared that they had the plague. So they were put in quarantine. So they were thrown onto piles of rotting corpses and set ablaze. Then later on, this island, and this is why they call it the Island of Madness, then became the home of a mental asylum. So there was actually a doctor there that tortured the mental patients. But the strange thing is that, yes, these patients were crazy in their head, but a lot of them started saying they were seeing the spirits of the people who died there due to the plague years ago. And they say that they were kept up at night hearing the torture screams of the people who suffered there and died. So in the mental asylum, they did horrible things to the patients, such as performing lobotomies, using cruel tools like drills and like hand drills and hammers. Absolutely disgusting. So patients were actually taken to this bell tower that was on the island, where they were subject to this torture. So according to the lore, it is said that this doctor, after performing years of this kind of torture to the patients, he's also started to see the spirits of the plague victims. And it is said that the spirits led him to the bell tower, he went up there and jumped to his death. But not immediately, because it was said that he had survived. This is what a nurse said who witnessed the whole event. She said that he was on the ground squirming in pain, but then a mist arose that choked him to death. It is said that the doctor is now forever stuck in the bell tower, and that the bells of the tower can sometimes be heard quietly in the night. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe, click the notification button, like this video, and I will see you in my next Scary Saturdays. Bye! Have a good night!